Hello, everyone. We're just going to give students a few more minutes as people are coming in still. But hello, everyone. My name is Nikki Hernandez. I'm an admissions counselor here at UNC Asheville. We are going to take just a few more minutes to see if some more folks are going to come in because we had a few more people registered for the event. So we're just going to give them a quick moment while they join us. And make sure also to take a look at the chat as well. We try to make this as interactive as possible. So as you can see, if you are welcome to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you and where you're from and maybe what you're interested in studying in the humanities, that might help us out along the way tonight as well. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started with a little introduction. So like I said, hello, everyone. I work in the admissions office, and I'm here to moderate tonight's Q&A with UNCA for the humanities. So if you have any questions that Jake might not be able to answer about maybe admissions or anything like that, I'm happy to help out. This is a webinar style, so we cannot see or hear you. So if you have questions throughout the night, which we highly encourage you to ask as many questions as you might have, you can use the Q&A box below so that we can get to your questions as they come up to us. And we will also read off the questions that were pre-submitted as well to you all. So this is our panelist for tonight. Jake, do you want to introduce yourself and maybe what you do here at UNC Asheville for us?
Gladly. My name is Dr. Jake Butera. I teach in the classics department. For those of you that might not know what the classics are, we teach basically ancient Greek and Roman things. My specific interests, I guess, are Latin and Greek language. I teach a lot of history. I teach military history and woodworking kind of stuff, which is fun. Just a mix of old dead things, basically.
Yeah, as you can tell, the humanities kind of has a little bit of everything in it. So that's kind of the first question. A lot of students don't really know what the humanities even are. A lot of students know what the hard sciences are with your biologies and chemistry. So what are the humanities?
So the humanities division encompasses a whole lot of things. So, I mentioned classics, but we also have our language and lit course. So that's French, Spanish, German. We do Cherokee and Chinese, Portuguese. All the languages are there. The history department, religious studies, philosophy, drama, music, art history. I'm probably forgetting one or two in there, but you get the general sense of it. We do, all of those fall kind of under the category of the humanities division. If I missed one, I am sorry about that.
We offer a ton of humanities here at UNC Asheville. If you all are kind of exploring your options at this point, but know you want to be in the humanities, definitely reach out to your admissions counselors. We're happy to sit down and chat with you all, get you connected with professors within the department as well. They love connecting with prospective students just as much as we do. So if we can help you along the way, we're happy to do that. And it's totally fine if you don't know what you want to study, but you know that you kind of want to go into the humanities as well. You can take a few different courses. I would say not a ton of students come in knowing that they want to study classics, but it's something that they discover along the way. So definitely feel free to do that. All right, so our first question is about academic organizations and clubs. Are there any academic clubs and organizations in the humanities department centralized around academics?
So yes, there's loads of student clubs and organizations. Some are based around activities, some are based around themes, others are based around specific academic programs. So for example, there is a history club, right? There are a number of foreign language speaking groups. So there's a French conversation table, a German conversation table. There is, for example, we have an ancient garden on campus, and there's an ancient garden club that's a more activities-based one. We have in classics an Eta Sigma Phi organization, which is an honors organization within classics. And there are others of these groups and organizations and clubs on campus that are related to specific departments and programs. I think that would be the academic stuff. And then on top of that, there are any number of more thematic sorts of things. If you're interested in, things like a social justice club and things along those lines, we have things like that on campus as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a club for just about everyone here at UNC Asheville. And if there's not a club, then you can make one yourself as well. So there's clubs for just about every single academic department that I can think of. And it's a great way and a great opportunity for students to connect with their peers and kind of bond over your shared enjoyment over your major or minor. And so you don't have to be a major in that department to get involved in these clubs or organizations. If you just have a passion about maybe English, we have an English literature club that you can be involved in. So there's a lot of opportunities. My biggest piece of advice is definitely get involved. Maybe don't be like me. I got way too involved my freshman year, and it was slightly overwhelming, but it was such a fun time, and it's how I discovered really what I wanted to study in school as well. So definitely get involved is my biggest piece of advice. This kind of goes into the next question that we have, which is study abroad opportunities, which I know that you would be great to talk about, because one of our admission counselors was actually going to go on your study abroad trip, but to Greece, but it was canceled due to COVID.
Oh, a couple of years, yeah, COVID ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about study abroad opportunities that might be in the humanities realm?
Yeah, I mean, there are loads of opportunities to do things with study abroad. We have several options. You can do a semester abroad, a whole semester abroad. So we have a classics major right now who's in Germany for the semester. You can do full years abroad. And then we also do short-term faculty-led programs in the summer. So like this summer, for example, in May, I'm bringing students to Greece for 3 weeks. We're finally getting to do that trip. And these, are programs where you can take courses that contribute to the LAC, the liberal arts core that every student has to do, or you can do programs that are specifically related to your field of interest. So within the humanities, for example, last year I spent the year living in Rome, and I was there to teach at a school called the Intercollegiate Center for Classical Studies, which is a semester-long program for students to come and study Latin, Greek, and ancient history. And there are different kinds of programs like that in different kinds of fields. So if you want to do art and art history, you can find programs that will do that. If you want to do religious studies, you can find programs that focus on that. And if you aren't ready to do a full semester or a full year, the short-term programs often contribute to the liberal arts core as well. You're going to be getting UNC credit for those kinds of things. And these programs go all over the place. We do programs in Europe, we do programs, Ghana is one of our biggest programs. We do programs in Asia. We have a partnership with a school in Sydney, Australia. We have partnership with schools in Central and Southern America. Really anywhere in the globe that you want to go, we have those opportunities.
Definitely take advantage of studying abroad while you're in college. I've learned the hard way that apparently going to study abroad when you're out of college is super expensive. So take advantage of the financial aid opportunities that we have here at UNC Asheville. So many of our students study abroad, and it's a great opportunity to really get immersed in what you want to study. So definitely take advantage of that. Talk to the study abroad office so that they can get you connected with a program. You can go just about anywhere except for maybe Antarctica. I don't think we have a
I don't think we have that.
No, but it would be pretty cool. Get it because it's cold. Haha.
So, and if I can add to that too, just say that idea of taking advantage of it while you're here, you will never be able to travel as affordably for as long with people who are as expert as what you would be able to do with study abroad. So definitely take advantage of that. Later on in life, if you want to go on your own for vacation, it's going to cost you more, and you're not going to have like professors who have trained their whole life to talk to you about this stuff. So definitely, take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Definitely take advantage of it. Everyone will tell you the same thing once you get to UNC Asheville. Take advantage of it while you can. And before you know it, you're going to be a senior and wish that you would have studied abroad. So definitely take advantage of the opportunities that we have for our students. And then this also leads into the next thing. This is all about getting involved, I guess. So internship opportunities that students have. So we always know that kind of research is a big deal within the natural sciences and social sciences. So students want to know how they can get hands-on experience within the humanities realm.
Sure. So you're talking about sort of two different things there. Undergraduate research is something that we do on campus. We have an undergraduate research symposium. There's national undergraduate research symposia that we send students to all the time. And within the humanities, you can work with any faculty member that you would like who's interested in mentoring and guiding you through an undergraduate research project. So we have a professor right now working with students on ancient coinage, right? And that's an undergraduate research opportunity. Internships are something a little bit different. Internships are placement with local businesses and local industries that you can be both paid for as part of an internship and receive credit for that might relate to whatever your field of study is and whatever your interests are. So within the humanities, this can go a lot of different ways, and it kind of depends on what you can find around. I could foresee internships with sister cities that develop and create relationships with, I think we have 7, 8, 9 different sister cities with Asheville around. We have a number of non-government organizations and nonprofit organizations in the area that are going to be involved in humanitarian work that would fit in very closely to the different kinds of discussions and different kinds of work that we do in the humanities. And so you can explore either of those options. We have people that oversee undergraduate research. It's a faculty member and a committee that oversees that. And then we also have a career center on campus, and they are the ones that would help you to find internships and to develop the programs that would allow you to get credit for those internships.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a misconception with students that research is only done in a lab with mixing chemicals and all that fun stuff. And that is definitely not the case. There's so much research you can do within the humanities, especially history. And my biggest piece of advice is just going to figure out what you're passionate about and what you kind of want to discover, what you are professionally curious about and what you want to discover here at your time at UNC Asheville, and talk with your professors. They are your biggest resource and they love what they do. And 9 times out of 10, they can get you connected with somebody within that realm that you're interested in, so that you can get plugged in. And so it is super easy to get involved in undergraduate research here. So just talk with your professors, talk with upperclassmen who have been involved. You might not know exactly what you want to do research on, and so you might figure that out along the way. Talking with our Career Center is also a great way to get involved in internships. So make sure to take advantage of those opportunities our Career Center offers as well. So if you want to get more connected with them, just let us know. We're happy to send you guys some links over as well. And it looks like we actually have a question in the chat that says, what about the visual arts? What kind of experiences are available within working artists?
So I admit I am not in the fine arts art history department, but Asheville has a huge arts community. Huge. We have the River Arts District, for example, is a collection of artists and studio space and gallery space in the city. We have the STEAM Studio, which is a combination of a woodworking and a metalworking studio space just off of campus that you can get access to after doing a training course. There are loads of connections that you could have in this community within the fine arts, whether that be the visual arts or the performing arts. We have a strong music department. There's a theater group in Asheville itself, as well as our drama program here. So really, any of those performing arts, fine arts kind of categories, you have loads of good connections and opportunities for.
Yeah, definitely. And our art building is brand new as well, which is nice because we actually have rotating exhibits in there. So we bring in working artists from the Asheville area. So there's just so many ways for you to network. And a lot of our faculty have been within the field before and have worked. And so we have a lot of adjunct professors as well. So you can network with them, get involved, and they can point you in the right direction. And a lot of our programs actually have like a built-in curriculum in which you have to go out and get internships internships or get hands-on experience. So like I said, connect with the Career Center. They are such a great resource, and take advantage of them because they know of all the internships and past experiences that past students have come in contact with, and so does the departments. The departments have a lot of resources for you all available. So if you just want to know, hey, what are some past internships that students have gotten involved in, just talk with your departments and they can get you in contact with people. Great question. All right, I'm going to go back to the questions that were submitted. So another question that was asked about interdisciplinary programs. So it is, what is within the humanities? I'm interested in making an interdisciplinary major centered more in the humanities. So that's a great question that has a lot of parts to it, a little bit about what is an interdisciplinary program and how can I intertwine humanities into that. I think the options are kind of limitless.
You have a lot of options there. So we do have an interdisciplinary studies program, an interdisciplinary study major. And basically you work with them to develop a kind of curriculum that is by its nature interdisciplinary. And that can involve courses and faculty and topics basically from any division. So if you wanted to cross humanities and the natural sciences together, you could develop a curriculum that would allow you to do that sort of thing. So it's hard to answer that in a specific way because it really depends on the specific program that you're interested in. I guess the best thing to say is that it gives you the opportunity to explore and to try to develop a program that works for you and that touches on the kind of interests that you have. So I could foresee somebody that's interested in working at museums as a conservationist. And that person might want courses from art history, might want courses on archaeology, a touch of anthropology, and then courses in chemistry so that you kind of know the background material. And you could work within interdisciplinary studies to make your case for that program and to develop the curriculum that program would have.
Yeah, absolutely. The interdisciplinary program here is a very, very unique program, and it's very cool because you're able to really combine a few different subject areas, which is what the liberal arts is all about. We want our students to be creative and be original, and especially is great if you want to go on to grad school or med school or anything like that. They love to see that kind of creativity. So if you're interested in that, definitely talk with your advisor. We do have an advising Q&A coming up on April 14th, so definitely attend that as well. But the interdisciplinary program is built for you to be creative. So we've had students that want to pursue art therapy. So they take a few classes within art and a few classes within psychology. I had a student that was interested in computer science, but also wanted to add English to that because apparently knowing how to be a good coder entails also being a good writer as well. So he wanted to add a few different things together and combine a major too. So it's a very unique program. If you're interested in that, definitely research that and get involved with the advising office as well. And you kind of touched on this a little bit, but another question was asked about how much room is there to explore classes across different departments and other things like natural sciences and social sciences.
So one of the great advantages to coming to UNCA is our liberal arts core, and as part of that, and this is going to touch a little bit on the question that's in the Q&A here, as part of that, you are required to take a 4-course humanities sequence, and that's different than the humanities division that we're talking about right now. The humanities sequence is a 4-course program, usually over 4 years, and it can be taught by faculty from any division on campus. The humanities division involves the specific departments that we were talking a little bit about before, like classics, religious studies, art history. So there's a slight distinction between that. But in addition to that 4 years humanities sequence, you're also required to take a course on scientific perspectives, a course on lab science, a course in the social sciences, a course on the languages, 2 diversity intensive courses, an arts and ideas course. And what this does is this builds into your curriculum and builds into your requirements for graduation that exploration that you're talking about. And so you may have never thought about taking a lab science like chemistry, and that could light a fire for you when you take it, and you could suddenly realize that chemistry is your passion. Or you take a diversity intensive course in classics. So like I last semester taught a diversity intensive course in classics, and maybe that was something that you wouldn't have thought about doing before, and that gets you interested in the humanities, and so you have to do that exploration here. The other nice thing is that many of the majors within the humanities division don't have as high a number of credit hours to complete as other programs do. Like mechatronics is every minute of your life is kind of scheduled, and chem can be a lot of courses. But one of the nice things about humanities division is that you can also double major with a lot of things. And that gives you that opportunity to explore, or you can do a major and a minor, and that gives you that opportunity to dip your toe into a lot of different things. So it's built into the system that you will try and see a lot of different fields and a lot of different subjects.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different crosses that you can make within the humanities field for sure. So definitely explore your options. That's another piece of advice. Do not be afraid on kind of pigeonholing yourself into one degree. UNC Asheville is really good about having students come in without a declared major so that you can kind of have the opportunity to explore a little bit, figure out what you do like, because it can be a little hard as 17, 18-year-olds knowing what you want to do for the rest of your life. So definitely explore your options. Take a few different courses. I changed my minor 3 times while I was in undergrad. And yes, I did graduate in 4 years. Don't worry. There's always time to explore your options. As long as you're using your resources like the advising office, the career center, talking with your professors, making sure that you're getting the help that you need, you definitely have the time to explore your options, and figure out what's best for you and what you're the most passionate about. That's how I figured out what I wanted to minor in. I randomly took a course and I discovered that that's what I liked, and there we go. Then I had a minor. So lots of fun things.
I want to jump on that too, because
Yeah.
I was the same way. When now I didn't go to UNCA. I went to a school in Ohio, but when I started, everyone told me, you need to be a doctor, you need to make tons of money, you need to do this thing. And so I started out as pre-med, and turns out I kind of hated it. I mean, I did fine, right? Like, the courses were okay, but it just wasn't the thing that interested me. And so in my 4th semester, so during my 2nd year, I switched my major to classics, and now I'm teaching as a classics professor. So it's okay if you come in and you don't know, and it's okay if you come in and you change your mind. That's actually the norm, that people change their mind when they're in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge misconception that everyone knows what they want to do and that's what they stick with. That kid that you know that is saying, I 100% I'm going to major in biology, going to med school, odds are they're going to change their mind.
Absolutely.
And also that leads into another most commonly asked question that we get is, what can I do as a job in the humanities field? That's a big one. So
yeah, that's a great question. So there's sort of 2 answers to this question. There's what jobs can I get in the humanities field, and there's what jobs that can I get with a humanities degree. Okay, so within humanities fields, obviously teaching is a big thing that we do. We get a lot of people that go into things like library studies, and they work in libraries as research librarians, things along those lines. We have students that go off to seminary and work as pastors afterwards, especially out of religious studies, or students that take Latin and ancient Greek and apply that to seminary. People that go work for historical societies. We have one recent history major who is the in-house historian in Cherokee right now. Obviously, people who do the fine arts, people who do music tech, can find position within those fields once they leave the university or pursue a master's in those things. So those, there's lots of options for stuff that's actually related to the classical or to the humanities fields themselves. But on top of that, there have been a lot of studies that show that employers are keen on hiring people with humanities degrees, and especially people who double major. And there's kind of 2 reasons why this happens. One is we put a lot of emphasis in, obviously critical thinking, asking tough questions, learning to write well and to communicate well. And these are things that a lot of employers want to see. And the other thing that it does is, let's say you double major in chemistry as pre-med, and you do a major or minor as well in something like classics. When you go to apply to med school is something that you want to do, you're going to be competing with hundreds of students who say, I have a major in biology, I have a major in chemistry, and they're all going to look like the same people who have done chemistry and biology. But then all of a sudden, folks that are looking to hire you, or folks who are looking to accept you into med school or nursing school or occupational therapy school or whatever it is, are going to look at your application and say, wait a second, this student is a little bit different because they've done biology and classics. So all like immediately you stand out in the crowd, both for your skill sets and for the stuff that you've studied and the sort of unique application that you present. And there have been loads and loads and loads of studies of how beneficial this is for people who are applying for jobs and how desirable it is for employers to find those more well-rounded and kind of more sort of disciplined applicants who apply for those positions. So when I was first looking for jobs, for example, I applied for jobs with the FBI because I have language training, right? With the CIA, with you know, just there's loads of places that you might not think immediately about exploring, but you're going to have a lot of skills that are going to be marketable and desirable.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much you can do with a humanities degree. First and foremost, you could work in admissions, you could work in higher ed. We do not have a required degree for sure, and we all have very different backgrounds for sure in our line of work. So there's a lot you can do with a liberal arts education in general, because we teach you soft skills as well as the hard skills as well. So I definitely want to emphasize that as well. Learning the public communications and understanding different cultures and how to interact with people is so beneficial. Something that my advisor always told me was that you will learn how to be a doctor when you go to med school. Do what you love while you're in undergrad, because you all are going to learn how to be a doctor, but you can't always learn how to treat other human beings. So definitely enjoy your time in undergrad and do something that you're passionate about and that you're not going to dread waking up every single day saying, oh, great, I have to go to chemistry again. So not to say if any of you here are in love with chemistry that you shouldn't do that, but definitely have a soft spot for humanities and social sciences. So definitely want to encourage you all in that area as well. So you can definitely accomplish so many different things with a humanities degree and a liberal arts education in general. But yeah, like I said, and like I will keep saying, reach out to the Career Center if you are worried about that as well, so that they can connect you. And one of the biggest things that I learned while applying for jobs is going to be getting other things on your resume as well, such as internships, that undergraduate research. So not just going to class every single day, but getting involved and showing that you actually do enjoy what you're working on as well. It will definitely help out in the long run. But yeah, so. Let's see. I see that we have another question about exploring classes. We kind of touched on that as already, exploring classes in our minors. But yes, you can explore your classes throughout UNC Asheville, especially with the liberal core arts. I think it's a great way to kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. But Jake, what advice would you have for prospective students coming in wanting to major in the humanities, especially if they might be interested in classics? If you're happy to tell us a little bit more about classics as well, I just want to give you that opportunity.
I mean, I tell everyone to major in the classics, right? I tell them that always, but I might be a little bit biased. I mean, if I'm going to be sort of honest about my best advice to you when you come in, and we said this a little bit before, come in with an open mind. Don't come in thinking you've already decided what your future is, thinking you have to do only these courses, eye on the prize, tunnel vision to some end. In your first year is a good opportunity to do a number of those liberal arts core classes, to really explore the breadth of opportunities that you have here, right? To see what really excites you when you study, to see what information is really at your fingertips at a university like this. And so, I mean, that's the advice that I try to tell most people, is that you are not pigeonholed in anything yet. You have time, you have opportunities. I tell people, remember that study abroad is an option, and that you should build that into your expectations for your 4 years here, whether it be in the summer or for a semester or for a year. Know that that is on the radar. And then, if you're interested in the classics, reach out to us. And this is true of every major, every discipline, every department. We are all thrilled when there's new students that are interested in taking classes with us or interested in exploring a major with us. just look us up online, find the email address of a couple people in the department, and email us and just say, hey, I'm interested in this. I'd love to hear more. Can we talk sometime? I will talk one-on-one with anybody that wants to talk about the classics. I will answer any questions that people have about that, just anytime at all that you want. Just reach out to us and we will always want to talk with you about these things. So, those are probably the best bits of advice that I can give folks coming in is it's an advantage to coming to a smaller liberal arts school as well, is that you are going to get one-on-one personal interactions with the faculty. You're not going to have classes with 300 students in it. And if you email a faculty member out of the blue, we're going to want to respond to you and carry on the conversation.
Absolutely. That was great advice. If I had to give any advice to you all, it will be just to take a breath, because I was super overwhelmed coming into college, thinking about what's going to happen in 4 years when I'm looking for a job. How am I going to make myself marketable? How am I going to find a job? Because as a first generation college student, that's what I was stressed about and what I was worried about. There's a lot of weight on your shoulders as a first generation student to succeed and make your parents proud. So just take a breath and know that it's going to be fine and that you will get a job, especially in such a great community like UNC Asheville. They definitely want to see you succeed and they'll help you get there along the way. I always say that our professors here are great because they not only know your name, but they know what you're passionate about and they want to help you get there as well. So use your resources, talk with your professors. It's not like in the movies where nobody talks to each other or anything like that. It's a very collaborative environment and it's a lot like high school size classes. So it's a great way to really get connected within your field and get that hands-on research within your own field and what you're passionate about. And you can worry about finding a job along the way and we're going to help you get there as well. So try not to stress out too much. I know if I told myself that 5 years ago, I'd say, you're funny, I'm still going to stress out. So, if that's you, it's totally fine, but reach out to your admissions counselors. We're here to be a resource for you all and help you along the way and make this process as easy as possible and as anxiety-free as we can. So we are going to be ending the Q&A slightly early since you all don't have
Wait, can I add one more thing real quick? You just reminded me of another piece of advice.
Yeah.
So the other piece of advice I would give is that, all right, we're asking you to explore a lot of different subjects. And that means you're going to be taking stuff that in the end you are not particularly interested in and stuff that you're not particularly good at. And that is okay, right? If anyone tells you have to walk in here and you have to be perfect A+ students in chemistry, in humanities, in social sciences, in philosophy, in physics, in all of these things, then they are lying to you. All right. We cannot all be expert at everything. We cannot all excel at everything. The reason that we ask you to do this is not to torment you. It is not to make you feel horrible that chemistry is just not your thing. We do this so that you can find what you are passionate about. And so it is okay if you are not fantastic at everything.
Yeah, that's such a great point. That's something that I had to learn the hard way in college for sure. Coming in as like an honor student, taking AP courses, top 10% and all that good stuff. You come in with this expectation that you're supposed to be perfect in everything, or you're supposed to get A's in everything. And some students do, and that's great, but it's totally fine if you are not. And if you struggle in a little bit of areas, I think I had a mental breakdown the first time I made a 30 on a chemistry exam. And I learned, yes, I cannot minor in chemistry. This is not for me. And I ended up changing to sociology. And then I changed to psychology. But that's a whole nother story. So it's totally fine if you discover that what you intended on majoring or minoring in isn't actually what's right for you and what you enjoy doing. So explore your options, and it's okay if you are not perfect in everything for sure. And we did have one last minute question about English. How can I get a little bit more information about English? So
I just sent the link to the website for the program. I mean, that's where you start, and then email the chair of that department is Kirk Boyle. You can email him or look through the faculty. And if there's a faculty member in there that works on stuff that you're really interested in. So Kirk, I think, studies literature, but if you're more interested in creative writing, find the faculty member who teaches creative writing and reach out to them and send them an email and let them know you're interested and ask them your questions and ask if you can talk. And reach out directly to them.
Yeah, and I just dropped a link also to our classroom/professor visits as well, that we do through the admissions office. So if you fill out that form, you can actually request to virtually or in person. There's usually a 2-week wait period to register to meet with a professor. Not a lot of students know that we offer that, so take advantage of
I
that.
didn't know we offered that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
the more you know. So maybe you'll be getting a call from us saying that we need you to speak to a student here today.
Here's hoping.
So
Here's hoping.
yeah,
Now I just
absolutely.
feel like I'm not very popular. Yeah.
No, it's totally fine. We typically, if you all want to do that, just let us know as well. We can help you if you have any questions about that, but definitely take advantage of that for sure. Jake, do you have any other last minute thoughts before we close out?
No, that was a big one. I mean, this is a little weird because I can't see everyone, but I thank you all for being here, for asking your questions, for having this interest. I will leave my email address in the chat real quick. If people have follow-ups and want to talk more about it, please feel free to reach out. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you in the fall.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope to see you all here in the fall. Did you say you can do 4 years of study abroad? 4 years of study abroad. Goodness.
No, not 4 years. No, you can do a full year. You can do a full year of study abroad. There is they ask that you do a certain percentage of your credit hours for graduation here on campus.
Yeah.
But you can do a full year of study abroad, and you could also, in addition to that, do one of the short-term study abroad programs in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess hypothetically, if you wanted to stay at UNC Asheville for 8 years, then perhaps you could study abroad for 4 years, but we would not recommend that.
I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do a full year. You can do a full year program,
Yeah,
which would be a really great experience.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to hopefully have you all here in the fall. If you all have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to Jake or to our admissions office. If you all need anything at all, we're here to be a resource for you all. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. So bye, everyone.
Have a great weekend.